breathtaking scenery of the Highlands and Islands of Scotland. It's here that Caledonian MacBrayne operates its Lifeline ferry service. Now, to satisfy European law, the company faces its biggest ever challenge: tendering for the very services it already provides. The sea has always been at the heart of the island way of life.
Boats like this have always been used by islanders. They brought food in and out, let people visit and trade with each other, and sometimes became symbols of power. Without boats, the islands are nothing.
The age of steam brought great change to the islands. In 1973, the Caledonian Steam Packet Company and David MacBrayne came together to form what we now know as CalMac, a company which goes all the way back to the ideas of one man.
Erected by a grateful public in memory of David Hutchison, by whose energy and enterprise the benefits of greatly improved steamed communication were conferred on the West Highlands and Islands of Scotland. David Hutchison and Company was formed in 1851, which is of course over 150 years ago. It became David MacBrayne, and both David Hutchison and David MacBrayne were preeminent in shipping in the west coast of Scotland. Their crews, their Highland crews, Highland courtesy, wonderful skill at negotiating the sea lochs on the west coast, which are very treacherous in bad weather. They carried the islanders, they carried their mail, they carried their cargo. You almost felt that the islanders knew David MacBrayne personally. It was that sort of company. It wasn't a remote organisation which had nothing to do with the islanders themselves.
Today, Caledonian MacBrayne ferries are just a wee bit more modern. This is the flagship of the fleet, the Hebridean.
The Hebridean can carry 600 passengers and 100 cars in safety and relative luxury. She's built for maximum comfort on long passages in sometimes stormy seas. Sister ships in the CalMac fleet have names reflecting their roots and the company's heritage. All the major vessels have powerful engines and the equipment needed to allow CalMac's skills and seamanship to get the ships through in the roughest weather. The Loch Nevis, which services the small isles, was specially designed for the demands of her route. In a fleet to match the island's needs, safety and reliability are top priorities. Even the small 22-metre vessels, which take just a handful of cars, are a lifeline to the communities they serve. Every year, CalMac moves 4.8 million passengers and nearly 1 million vehicles, 28 ships in all, on 26 routes.
Nowadays, the instruments on the bridge of a CalMac ferry owe more to the Starship Enterprise than to original island boats. Indeed, we've come a long way since the open boats which plied to and fro between the islands. There are many small islands where keeping the community going and stopping the people from leaving depend largely on CalMac. The beautiful island of Gia, which now has control of its own destiny, is one such island.
Everyone on an island is a ferry expert.
The Gia ferry can take at the most 205 passengers, but usually they're only allowed to put on 199. Because to have 205, they have to have at least 4 members in the crew, and usually it's only 3. It can take 12 cars and 12 decent-sized cars, and they can take 14 small cars. The biggest truck I think would be like maybe some of these fish lorries and sometimes the milk tanker, bin lorry. And when we were getting a fire station built, there was dumpers and things coming over like that.
Gia's primary school teacher has only 7 boys and girls under her care. And now the secondary school pupils can get to and from school on the mainland every day.
In the past, the children stayed away from the island on a weekly basis. They went away on a Monday morning and returned on a Friday afternoon and stayed in lodgings in Campbelltown. But since the 15th of March, they have now been able to travel daily to Campbelltown. An additional ferry service has been added, and they can leave the island now at 7:40 in the morning and return again at 5:20. So that's been a big advantage, and I think it will be in the future when we hope to encourage more families to come and live in the island.
Egg is another island famously bought by its own people. Now islanders are watching a new ferry slip being built, which will allow CalMac to tie up for the very first time.
It'll make a big difference as far as agriculture is concerned, because getting stock off. I mean, at the minute the trouble we're having a flip boat service is that we end up trying to get, for instance, a load of sheep together, a whole float load to go off in a one-hour, whereas with something like this we can put off small loads as and when we want. To be fair to MacBrayne's, they are fairly committed. A couple of times a week they actually link the islands, go around them all, and that sort of keeps us as a community, because it's most people in the Small Isles community think that it's important to keep it that way. Once you start to fragment it, the health board, people like that might think that it's far easier just to run things from Malig.
Cana, and the ministry bull is coming to the end of his summer tour of duty, sowing the seeds of fertility on farms and crofts all over the islands. Sometimes in the past, prize bulls had to swim along behind the boat under tow. Now they get to travel with a little more luxury on a service CalMac is duty-bound to provide, though the weather can be just as bad.
The purpose of today's trip is to take these animals back to the mainland. The bull's going back to the Crofters Commission. He's just been out for the summer servicing all our cows, so he's going back. And the lambs are the lambs that were produced in Cana in the springtime, and they're going off to sail in Port William tomorrow. We have to get all our messages, all our food, all our passengers, our mail. If you need to get off to go to the mainland for anything, you've got the service there. And if they can't come one day, they usually try and come the next day, so they don't let you down.
It's quite rewarding to see people's faces when they expect you not to come. Some are like, if they're waiting for food and things like that, get a bit short supplies, and if we were to try a bit extra harder, if it's maybe too rough for something smaller, you can maybe make it with a bigger boat, and bring your supplies to them. It's quite a relief seeing their faces sometimes, it's quite
A ferry's the only practical connection many Scottish islands have to the mainland and to each other. So CalMac has become the clock and calendar that drive life on the islands, like here in Cumbria, where the pupils go off to Largs Academy every morning.
Well, we get the bus in the morning at 8:15, and then we get on the ferry, and then we get on another bus over there up to the school.
CalMac timetables and sensible ticket prices have brought a new word to the vocabulary of these islands: commuter.
We're going to Ardbeg. We're building a new house there. We come over, we're coming over at the moment 5 times a week.
I stay about 6 miles from College Drive, so I cycle round to this ferry, cross onto Butte and cycle down to Rothsay, get the Weems Bay ferry across there, train up to Glasgow and cycle at the other end.
It's an everyday affair for us, going and coming back. 6, sometimes 7 days a week. It's our job, you know, take it away with no job, basically.
We have a list of phone numbers of most of the people that are commuting, and if the weather gets bad in the winter and it's looking like the ferry may have to go off, we can phone round and rustle everybody up to get them home, whichever way they're heading.
Lifeline is an expression that's often used to describe ferry services to the islands.
Lifeline, more like pipeline. Moving people is one thing, but there's more than that goes by sea.
This overnight freight route from Stornoway to Ullapool is a new departure for CalMac, which also frees up space on daytime sailings for passenger vehicles. 25% more cars took advantage in the first year. You can come and go to the islands by air, but only on small planes and only passengers. Just look around and you realise how much is brought by ferry.
Thanks to CalMac, shoppers in the larger island communities can now enjoy the same kind of products at the same prices and at the same time of day as people on the mainland. So it'll be the usual for lunch then, boys. Smoked salmon sandwiches? Yes? OK, and a bottle of Iron Brew. Oh.
Of course, the ferry's a two-way street, with some produce leaving in the opposite direction.
Glo ham eisiau ffyd dros edrych yn hasio nwag. Dwi setiach lachgu schon uit de nog as narsniach. Bied yn siach yn y smod yn gan shit. Ach nes geraf ersho had kan nog de glodin het go. Hij kan so stiesien. Dus hij gaat richtig doen.
Whisky is the biggest industry in the island now, and it's probably one of the biggest industries in Scotland. Basically, we use the ferry for all our raw materials and for mature whisky going off the island. So we bring the malted barley on by ferry, by road, and then on the ferry and onto the island. Each week we have a weekly delivery of yeast that comes in by road and on the ferry. Our cask whisky goes out on the ferry, and any other materials that we need. It's the only way to get materials on and off the island now, and it's also the fastest and most economical way.
Talking of doing things quickly, CalMac, being on the internet, has put Scotland's islands onto the world map. And a company on Skye helped create the image.
CalMac were one of our earliest customers, way back in 1996, I think. The internet's very useful for a company like CalMac, which is in the travel business, because potential customers or travellers can quickly get up-to-date information on ferry times and on special deals. Nowadays, they can book online. CalMac were one of the earliest companies in the UK to take online bookings. And in the year 2000 winners at the Web Awards, CalMac were recognised by Department of Trade and Industry as having one of the best large company e-commerce sites. And we were very happy to be associated with that.
There's a handmade cheese in Blackwater Foot in Isle of Arran. It's just new to the market.
CalMac is also getting wise to joint marketing with island businesses, another innovation.
I'm certainly seeing a real enthusiasm coming from Caledonian MacBrayne at the moment to look at joint ventures and to look at other ways of using the ferries to generate interest and generate business. What we have here is a number of food products from the island We pulled together a lot of the small food producers, and we used that as an opportunity to hook in some customers and tell people about the Isle of Arran and sell the destination.
You can't see it on that map over there, but it's fairly accessible. We're up here in Glasgow.
The ferry company is one of the most important things on the island. It is the biggest opportunity and the biggest threat as well, because if CalMac aren't running a good service, nobody else can operate. If the people can't get to Arran or any of the islands, obviously, none of the other businesses can thrive.
It's tourists who bring by far the most money into the islands. They come here for that special island experience. And of course, the ferry is where it all starts.
The people on the ferry, the people that work on the ferry, the people that work in the offices in Ardrossan are our ambassadors, if you like. They're the first people that anybody meets coming to Arran. And how well and how nicely they are treated by those people is very important.
One of the greatest attractions for tourists coming to the islands is the sense of wilderness, the feeling that you're in one of the last unspoiled environments in Europe.
Advise all passengers that the boats there watertight doors are secure. Vessel shop and receipt to sea. Thank you.
Going and coming back.
Oh, today?
Yes.
A spell of good weather always brings a surge in passengers. But the annual Cowell Highland Gathering is one date guaranteed to pack the ferries with people from all over the world.
The Cowell Games is very exciting because you see the build-up to it on the Thursday and the Friday of everyone going over early. You see the Canadians and the Australians and people coming from all around the world. You see the wee girls in all their dancing, their Highland outfits, and then you see the pipe bands on the Saturday, and you can have 500 people on every sailing, which is exciting. It makes it very busy, and it's a very fast day. With only 10 of a crew, we're all kept exceptionally busy.
More and more, and all year round, CalMac is moving towards new ways of making the ferry journey more enjoyable for customers.
For the people it serves, the ferry is often part of the holiday, part of the road, or even just a place to socialise. Cheers.
Long-time favourites like Cayley's and dinner sailings, castle cruises too, are once again proving popular.
The facilities on a CalMac ferry are good, and there's a lot happening behind the scenes on a ship at sea to keep the customer satisfied.
Hey.
I'll take her out here, Rory.
They say in a successful business, you know you're doing well when your work goes unnoticed. Now, CalMac has to prove it, as the company gears up to tender for providing ferry services on the Clyde and in the Hebrides.
Tarbert Harris and the ferry at the pier, a symbol that this isn't an island on its own. It's knitted into the Western Isles and into Scotland. Harold, this is a time of great challenge for CalMac. How ready are you to take up that challenge?
I believe the company is ready to take up that challenge. Caledonian MacBrayne and its predecessors have operated on the west coast of Scotland now for 150 years. And over that 150 years, we've provided Lifeline services. But the services have not been static, the services have developed.
How concerned are you about a rival company coming in?
Well, we are concerned about a rival company coming in. At the moment, we provide a Lifeline service, a set of services, and we get a deficit grant for that. We are going to have to bid for these services and state the subsidy that we will need over the next 5 years to provide them. This means that, as well as meeting a record of reliability and safety as we've done in the past, and meeting the needs of the community as we've done in the past, we'll now need to look at our operations and be as efficient as possible, and also look at our means of raising income, because it will be the lowest bid which will win the competition. And we're confident that building on our past and taking the steps I've just described, that we'll be able to meet the challenge and be the operator for the next 5 years. That's our intention.
If they were broken up, then who would produce the Lifeline services to places like Col, Tiree, Colonsay? And it's the thing that CalMac can do, they've got backup services as well when things go wrong. And I would be very worried that a private operator wouldn't have the same commitment as Caledonian MacBrayne has, and all their staff and crews. And we saw a good example of that recently in Argyll, when we had a private operator who disappeared pretty quickly. So I think we've got to be absolutely convinced and sure that we must keep Caledonian MacBrayne going. You know, we all feel that we own it, that it belongs to us, and we have a great pride in the fact that it keeps going and serves the islanders and the mainland ports.
These outside companies might come in and take their own crews with them. They might be British crews, they might be foreign crews. But what I do know is that if ever this operation loses its wealth of experience as far as crews are concerned, it'll be much the worse for that.
CalMac has earned its place in the heritage of the islands. And a hashakan e CalMac and a gaiupehen in Yilang, a herst gemor sa chanen a chayersnach, eis gach coolets I de velate shavag.
No